They are nothing but monsters, and they are staying behind a nationalist slogan of Zionism. You can walk around here and see some of the pictures. These pictures are not made up pictures. This is exactly what is happening today in Palestine, in Gaza, in West Bank, in Jerusalem, everywhere you go. And none of the Palestinians, none of the Arabs, none of the Muslims are against Judaism. We are all the people of the book, but it is a matter of justice. What we see today by Israel, by Zionist movement, by Israeli settlers who are funded by yours and my tax dollars, it is not just. It is not just. You cannot build a nation on the death and destruction of another nation. And that's what Zionism has done. And they have support of our Congress. They have support of our nominees for upcoming elections. And we have to speak loud, speak up, call, and let them know in no uncertain time, in no uncertain terms, we will not accept it that you continue to support Israel, who's waging genocide. If you want to use the real term, as a Holocaust in the making. A Holocaust in the making of the Palestinian people. They are little children who have been killed. Little children been hunted down. Women and children been raped. And then recently, as of 27th of June, Rabbi Rosen has given religious verdict that it is okay to kill every Palestinian child, every Palestinian woman, every Palestinian man. It is written in the Torah. We heard just before that Torah is a book of peace. Judaism is a religion of peace. They are making up things like that, justifying their evil actions. Unfortunately, my friends, that we are not loud enough. We are not persistent. We are not consistent with our demonstration, with our voices, to let the people in the White House, the people in the Congress and Senate, and everywhere, the center of power, that this is not okay in this time, not okay in the future. It was not okay in 1948. You cannot take somebody's land and give it to somebody else. If the Zionists had a beef, their beef was in Europe. They should have fought it out there. They may find some supporters among us. But you cannot come, take over the land, oppress people, build walls, build checkpoints, and make life miserable of Palestinian men, women, and children. It is not easy to survive in Gaza. It is not easy to survive in Al-Khalil, Hebron. It is not easy to survive in Jerusalem. And what they're doing now, when the Palestinians has taken the approach of peace, they're waging their struggle, hashtag BDS. Now it's hurting them. Now they are instigating violence so that they can kill more Palestinians, like what just happened day before yesterday after Taraweeh prayers in Jerusalem, in Al-Aqsa Masjid. So my dear friends of Palestine, you see what's going on. I would like to urge you to stay focused and stay consistent to waging your voice against this continued oppression, the killing, genocide, and Holocaust in the making. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your racist war.
1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your racist war.
1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your racist war.
1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your racist war.
5, 6, 7, 8. Israel is an apartheid state.
5, 6, 7, 8. Israel is an apartheid state.
Brothers and sisters, speaking of apartheid, there's in a couple minutes, a brother is going to come up here who has visited Palestine in the past several years. Maybe he'll share some of his experiences. He also worked against apartheid South Africa. Just 25, 30 years ago, we had another apartheid regime that was in South Africa. It was very powerful. Didn't look like it was going anywhere. It'd been there for over 60, 70 years. And that thing crumbled. It crumbled because a coordinated, dedicated, grassroots support from people like yourselves participated in a boycott and sanctions movement against apartheid South Africa. The same thing is going on today against apartheid Israel. At the grassroots level, individual folks, families, are participating in a consumer boycott. There's also a divestment and sanctions movement. Many of our churches in the United States, they have investments in different funds, and a number of those are moving in the direction of divesting themselves from Israel for various reasons. Moral, number one is moral. They don't want their church, their investments to support apartheid, occupation, killing, injustice. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but we just wanted to let you know that there, besides this gathering here and the ones that are going on across the U.S. and all over the world, and there's gatherings going on in Malaysia.
It is said that to cover up one lie, you have to tell 100 more lies. And the state of Israel was conceived in a lie. It was formed on a lie. And today it is sustained by more lies. And to keep up that lie, they say that a land without a people belongs to a people without a land. That is a lie. They say that every Muslim struggling for liberation against the yoke of imperialism, against the aggression of colonialism, is a terrorist. That is a lie. And they say that every Muslim out there is a potential member of ISIS. And that is a lie. And so we have two groups in the world. One of them is very used to telling lies. They have centuries of experience in cultivating a personality of telling lies. And today, in the world, they happen to manage the mouthpieces and the megaphones that blare the loudest lies all over the world. And so they have become masters at telling lies. They make the victim into the criminal. and they make the criminal into the victim. Across the majority Muslim world, there are over 300 foreign military bases. Yet it is the Muslim which is portrayed as the criminal. Today, the Palestinians occupy only 3% of historic Palestine. And yet it is the Palestinian who is portrayed as the criminal. And the occupier is portrayed as the victim. And we have another group, in addition to those who are serial and compulsive liars. And this group wants to claim guilt for every crime that happens in the world. But there is a danger here. For behind every will towards collective guilt, there is a program of collective punishment. And those who are telling all of these lies, they have spent billions upon billions of dollars to make the Muslims feel guilty for any and every crime, any place it takes place in the world. And now they're looking for a return on their investment. And so they visit the majority Muslim world with all manner of collective punishment in terms of bombs and missiles and endless war and crushing sieges. But it is occupation that is the crime, not the resistance to occupation. It is imperialism that's the crime, not the desire for justice that the people in the power culture have failed to deliver over the past 60 years. It is Zionism that's the crime, not the reaction to it. Wars of aggression are crimes. Collective punishment is a crime. And the poster children of all of this collective punishment are the Palestinians on the one hand, and what is going on in Syria on the other hand. There is a connection between what happened and is happening in Palestine and the dismemberment of Syria. All of those policies that were perfected over the last 60 or 70 years in the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians are being re-implemented right now in Syria. And so the ethnic cleansing that took place in the Holy Land over the past 60 years, those strategies are being re-employed in Syria. The siege of Gaza over the past 8 or 9 years has been expanded into the siege of an entire country in Syria. But this group, who is used to telling these lies, who is used to occupying the lands of others, this group is not satisfied with only the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians. For they understand very well that the people of conscience in that part of the world, and in the world in general, that they shall never tolerate an ideology of exclusivism, an ideology of racism, an ideology of elitism to dominate the Holy Land, which belongs to everyone. And so they intend to expand the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians to the ethnic cleansing of their Arab brothers. And they intend to create in that part of the world over 100 or perhaps more than that different countries which are perpetually at war against each other. And that is the only way that the lie of Israel can survive. But we all together can put an end to all of that if we work together, time is on our side.